All right, so in this section, we're going to go over the redshift round corners node. So I'm just going to flip off my cloner here for a second, look at this cube guy, and show you what this thing does. So round corners does exactly as it says it does. However, it goes into the bump input of an RS material. So essentially, this guy is just going to make your corners look round. So let's say I give this a radius of 5. Yeah, that's a little too much. Radius of 1. And you can see it's added this little bevel look on an otherwise sharp corner. So we'll go ahead and plug this back into the bump input, maybe crank the radius up to 3. I mean, you can't over crank this, otherwise it's gonna start looking wrong. But let's add another cube into the mix right quick. Whoops, and we'll kill the fillet on that one also. And I'm just gonna drag this around. And the neat thing about this is it works for both concave and convex surfaces. So it's also rounding my intersections here, which is pretty nice. Unless we go down and flick on this consider same object only, in which case it's only going to round the edges of the objects individually and ignore any interpenetrating edges. All right, so let's zero these out. I don't really need to, and flip back on the fillet. And that's gonna give me super roundy edges. We'll flip our sphere back on and we'll flip the cloner back on. So the neat thing here is it's also going to, in this case, I've made big geometry rounded edges. So we're saying to our eyeballs, okay, cool, these profiles are clearly rounded. And then if I crank this radius up to maybe like 25 and untick consider same object only, you're gonna see it's rounding off our intersections here as well, which is pretty cool. In the case of this image, I blended it together with another bump map, which is probably maybe a little too subtle. I just added these little tiny pockmark guys into the surface. Gives it kind of a nice little textural quality that makes you want to kind of like reach in and put your finger on it. But yeah, round corners, great little node, great way to make it look like you did a lot more work than you really did.